this much presumed innocence.
No, absolutely. I'm not saying he should. No, I'm not. I'm saying when he's.
Hey guys, we're here at episode 5. I don't know who let us make 5 episodes of this bullshit. Apparently we have 6 viewers now.
I got the emails, but we'll do it after we talk to Dave. But I got the emails. They got a little bit better. The emails aren't horrible this time.
It's not as bad.
Alright,
this is David Sumter, CW Post, DN. ECAC Player of the Year on defense. Senior. Getting ready to try to get into draft, right? Training hard. So, how do you feel coming out of school like Post, where you don't get the same recognition as?
I mean, it's hard, but I feel like nowadays it's more of a chance because you see more guys from the smaller school coming and making big plays in the NFL. Like a lot more stories, but it's hard, but it's not. It's hard, but it's not hard.
I was going to ask you that. I was going to say, I know back, a long time ago, coming from a D2 school, and when you were in high school and you were being recruited, was there any disappointment to say, like, oh, all right, I got to go to a D2 school? Were you dreaming to go to a D1? And then, but wait a minute, this was such a great fit for me. I'm going to go there.
What it is was, like me, I'm a different type of guy. So, like, when I realized that it wasn't going to happen with D1, I, like, mentally trained myself, like, really just face reality, like, okay, I could play at a D2.
Right.
I can make it happen at a D2. So it wasn't really a disappointment.
Yeah.
You can really make it happen anywhere you go.
The reason why I asked the question is because my son's a baseball player, and he was in school. He's a pretty good baseball player. In school, there was a lot of pressure. D1, you're going to go D1. He ended up going D3, but he's in a very good spot. But also, I think the ability of athletes now, it's almost across the spectrum now. So I was curious, did you have the same
D1 is great. All the aspects of it, the way you play, the traveling, facilities, the gear. It's all fun. But it's nothing wrong with D2 and D3. I mean, they all types of athletes. The only difference between D1 and D2 is the size, the grades.
Yeah.
So D1 people were more fortunate, had the grades to go to play better, and they're a little bit bigger.
Right.
But there are a lot of D2 athletes that could definitely play D1.
Yeah, and not just but that's kind of why we're doing what we're doing here, because we want to shine a light, because it seems like to us a little bit sports has gotten away from focusing on the fact that there's not just Alabama, there's not just professionals. There's a whole world of sports, and you represent that very, very well.
You started off at AIC, right?
Right.
And then you transferred over to Post. So what do you think you learned from that experience, starting off and then change the scenery?
That was it was a mind-boggling experience. Actually, it was crazy because I transferred. I went to AIC first out of high school. That's the only school that was recruiting me besides the JUCO, junior college. I went there, things wasn't working out with the football, so I decided that I had to go. I transferred. I wanted to come back closer to home, and I walked on the Post. Walked on, made it happen. Yeah, but it's not. It's different because like
you walked on. As soon as you walked on, they saw your side.
Right. They see the side. You still like the thing about that is the transfer. Like you're gonna go through so many adversities. Just because you're a walk-on, you're a transfer, and then you still gotta prove yourself from the beginning, and then things don't work the same. They already have their guys. Why do they need you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, they have their guys.
It definitely makes you stronger mentally, more hungry. Makes you hungry, makes you stronger, makes you everything. It definitely changes your mentality as a person.
Yeah. Well, coming out of Queens to begin with, I mean, you went to Campus Magazine.
Right, Campus Magazine.
You really don't see, when you read the local papers, and you really don't see Suffolk County's got kind of a burgeoning football.
Yeah, they're St. Anthony's a local powerhouse. I'm not getting up there now, but
not too much out of the city though. Unless I'm missing it.
I mean, Lincoln has a nice pipeline though. Lincoln has like one kid every year that goes a major D1 prospect, but it's like in between that, it's like Bar, and in between it's like diamonds in the rough, like. Dave's from Queens, me Huggins are producers from Queens, but it's like it's hard to get your name out because you think New York City, you're thinking basketball,
Right.
you're thinking you're not thinking as much football, but there is talent in football in New York City. It's just and another disadvantage of playing in New York, you don't have that all year round and everything down south has. You feel like if you were living in Florida or Texas, how do you feel like in high school?
It's a totally different story, because they take football so more. This is the thing, like coming out of the city, there are so many great athletes and ball players that it's just one side that a lot of people don't want to deal with the New York attitude, quote unquote, or
all three of us are very nice people.
Right. That's the perception. You go down south, right? What do they usually say about New York people?
Not very good. Arrogant.
That's the perception they get with a lot of New Yorkers.
Well, Dave, the guy that we're going to bring on after you, the guy who does the show with us, he fits the bill completely. So,
it's a different lifestyle, so you know. But the thing about that is like we already got a bad perception coming from the city, so like that's why a lot of athletes are overlooked, you know. But and then again, it's like nobody wants to deal with a headache. They feel like a lot of New Yorkers have headaches and things like that. I mean, but there definitely are top-notch athletes that come out of Queens, Brooklyn, Staten Island, the Bronx, all of that. Like it's just you just gotta go. You gotta find them. And the athletes do have to be more disciplined and more.
You must gotta go step further.
But I feel like now, like today's generation is definitely changing. Like you said, you got like a lot of guys, Erasmus Hall, a lot of deep Division I players, LinkedIn, Sheepshead Bay, Campus Magnet, whatever city school.
I mean,
a lot of
the talent camp.
Grand Street actually doing pretty good.
I mean, the talent's there because you can't just say kids up north can't play, especially since New Jersey's like one of the top schools producing D1 athletes now in football.
I believe the geography.
Yeah, I don't
we talked about that about baseball. Like this geography, all the players coming. It's not necessarily geography that's going to determine.
I would do geography, but it gives them a little leg up. That ability to play longer.
It's not so much. Yeah, it's not so much geography. It's just that, like I said, like certain type of areas have a certain type of perception. Yeah. Like you said, when you think New York, you think basketball. Yeah. Exactly. You don't think football.
That's not the first thing.
You feel me? Like you don't think it's major football happening in the city, and that's what a lot of these college coaches really sometimes think.
It's not. I'm not saying it's a laziness. It's not a laziness, but it is. But listen, I'm looking for a football player. Right. I'm gonna go to Texas. I'm gonna go to Florida.
Right. That's the first place you gonna go.
Let's talk about your season. That was unbelievable. I mean, you guys had an unbelievable year. Now you're a few months removed from it. Right. And when you guys started 1-2.
Yeah, 1-2. Yeah.
So what was the mood after that? Was it confident? I mean, like, oh shit, this is my senior year. I want to go out with a bang.
You know what it is? I mean, honestly, it was just I've been through 2 losing seasons, so it was kind of like right. It was that. It was a point where that happened. It was like I'm not having history repeat itself again.
Close games,
right? Real close
games. Right. You played St.
Rough games.
Yeah.
Rough games. Yeah. But we only came a lot, it happened. But at that point, everybody, like a lot of the team captains came together and had a team meeting. Like we gotta get it together, or else it's not nothing's gonna happen for nobody.
Right. Well, your first game, you really you blew out, and I think of when Steve had 7. Was responsible for 7 touchdowns, 49 against St. Anne's.
Oh, St. Anne's. Yeah. That was homecoming, I believe.
Yeah, you blew that out, and then. Talk about the game, if you can, about you had against Bentley, right?
Oh, Bentley, that was a good game. Yeah, that was the actual game. We was going into the game. They told us that if we were to lose that game, that we would be bumped out of the 1 or 2 spot. So only the top 2 teams played for the Indian Championship. Right. So it was tough because we couldn't. Even though Bentley wasn't good, they were good. Yeah. They didn't play like the team that they reckon reflected, So we went into that game fighting. That game it really came down to like a last few seconds kind of thing. Yeah. I actually had
3 sacks.
Yeah,
3 tackles for loss.
Yeah.
4 hurries.
And you know what's funny?
Block 2 passes, block 9. I know you got you.
Yeah, all of that came.
That stuff right there.
I think that kid was you were going
Right,
that little white
well,
flag.
that came towards the end of the game.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, that didn't really. Throughout the middle of the game, ask Kadeem, like he was telling me, "Yo, you gotta get it together. You gotta get it together."
Kadeem was saying that.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Kadeem's actually was a big mentor for me this year. Big help me out guy. Excellent help.
Right.
But
He was good today.
He was podcast.
nah, but it really like